But then today I'm like, oh, this is on video.
Nah,
And
just
that would have
us.
been really embarrassing. Okay.
Yeah,
We
no.
thrive on embarrassing, so that would have been right,
Yeah.
right
Yeah, it's
there
kind
in
of
our
like
sweet spot.
what powers
Yeah.
us.
Yeah. I have to put up with this all the time.
Welcome to Rebel Teacher Alliance, the podcast where teachers rethink student engagement, with Jamie Halsey, Fabian Hoffman, and Scott Kazarian.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Rebel Teacher Alliance. I guess this is like the day after Halloween edition, which means we all want to just cry and give up on life. So if you're if you're a teacher who no, you don't count then.
No,
but Jamie and I were commiserating earlier. So if you are feeling the end of the world after the day after Halloween, I like it that my own kids got Monday off, but not Tuesday.
Wait,
like for like a PD day for teachers or something. Yeah. And
why don't they?
I don't know.
They could just move
one
it
day.
To the first.
I don't know, but not my students. I was there.
Oh, okay. Just
and they were very fun. And then Jamie, you said you had
parent-teacher conferences.
Parent-teacher conferences. Holy cow!
So I've done 27 so far. 3 more to go.
Wow. Okay. Well, I digress. Sorry.
Wait. How many kids do you have?
30.
No. This is important.
30.
So every parent.
She said 27. She has 3 to go. 27
yep,
plus 3.
in elementary school.
Well, but that doesn't mean just because she's got 30 kids doesn't mean every parent.
Okay, we got to move on because we have a special guest today that we're very excited about. That wasn't supposed to be long banter, but it turned into that. But we're very excited. We have the global community manager. Did I get that right? For Canva. And the latest joiner of our Discord, which is going really well. We're very excited, but I saw that she joined today. So who do we got, Jamie, Fabian?
We have the famous Tisha Richmond, author of Make Learning Magical and Canva guru.
Global community manager sounds awesome. Just sounds cool. I want to be
really
a global community
Tell
manager.
us about your new job, Tisha.
Oh, hi everyone. I am so excited to be here. Oh, it's so much fun. I kind of wear 2 separate hats at Canva that go really nicely together, actually. One is a Canva learning consultant, and I've been doing that for a couple years. And what that role entails is when districts onboard Canva for Education, because it is 100% free for K-12 educators and students.
That's true. That's true.
It is a true story.
Are you fact checking her? Nobody fact checks Tisha. Don't fact check Tisha.
You can fact check. It's okay. It is hard to believe, honestly, but it is true. It is true. Yeah. And when a district onboards Canva for Education, then I come along as their learning consultant. So I provide free professional development for that district and support resources, etc. that they need. So that is just fun because I can talk all day long about Canva and all the amazing things that you can do to help empower student learning and just be able to tap into that creativity and collaboration. So love that part of my Canva role. And then the second part is I am the Canva Global Community Manager, and that entails creating all of the content, the programming for X, otherwise known as Twitter.
Yeah. I mean, yay. Sorry,
yeah.
Part of your job. I mean, yay. We support you, but not it. We're confused.
And the Facebook Canva Teachers Community, and really helping to build community in both of those places, trying to amplify voices and share out the amazing ways that educators are using Canva for Education in the classroom. And so that is a lot of fun too. So I kind of feel like it's a dream, honestly. Like I have loved Canva for a very, very long time. I started using it in 2014. And
I signed up for it in 2015. I noticed. I was like, "What?
Yeah.
I didn't even know."
Yeah, and it's
I had it.
Right, and it's only been around since 2013, and it has only come on board into like education since 2020. So just to see how it's grown over that time is really pretty astounding. It's been exponential growth. Yeah.
It's incredible. I remember, I think Canva was the alternative I used for PictoChart because PictoChart was huge.
Yeah.
And then I signed up for Canva, and I think that's how I signed up. But like, I just want to like sing a song about Canva. Can I do that?
I hope not.
But
I wanted to hear a song.
Yeah.
wait, I have guitars in the background. Like, I can like whip up a song real quick. No, but I want to say like it is really pretty incredible that it still is free for teachers, and the way that students are using it is incredible. Like, they're so quick. The instructions are so easy. I teach a multimedia course and a design course at my school, and I make it a requirement at the beginning of the year that they have to do like at least one or two of those courses that are on there. And they're so easy to use. And now, like, my expectation is we're not doing like Google Slides anymore. We leveled up. We know how to use like Canva, and they're so comfortable with it. And once they figure out that you have like the pro tools or the pro
well, it's easy to find because your mouse lights up like you're a magician. That's the best part. Yeah.
And once they figure that out, they're just like going nuts with it, which is so fun to see. So kudos, Canva.
Yeah, it's fun. When I get into classrooms, I really don't give a whole lot of explanation. Like, I do a really quick tutorial with kids, and they are off and running. And the things that they figure out that they can do and ways that they're using it that I hadn't even thought of really are astounding. So it's an awesome tool that just really keeps getting better.
When I first started teaching, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, it just seems like they're always leveling up. Like, they have the AI pieces in there now, and they're always adding new graphics and templates, and it's great. What were you gonna say, Scott?
Nothing important. No. I like always.
When
I first started teaching, I was a big Photoshop Illustrator guy, so I was like, if I want to make creative, like eye-popping, eye-catching, materials for my classroom, I'm gonna design them all. But the problem was that it's just not very universal. Like, I couldn't just go quick edit. I think what I love about bringing all my stuff into Canva, because that's pretty much what I've done at this point. I'm going through like another year of just kind of transforming everything into Canva. It's just so easy for me to make an extra copy, make an adjustment here, make a quick thing there, and then it's ready to go again. You're like, yay, perfect.
And I love that you brought that up, because I think that
Thank you.
is one thing that sometimes teachers are like, well, yeah, I'd love to learn. That looks really cool. It looks fun, but I have all of this content like sitting in my Google Drive or sitting wherever, and I don't want to recreate it because it's like, years and years of content. But when you can take that and upload it into Canva and just like level it up, or just make it better, make it more accessible, make it more visually engaging, then it's like, oh, well, that's like a no-brainer. Like, I don't have to recreate it from scratch. I can take something that exists and just make it awesome. Okay.
And they're not wrong. You do have to put it in there. You do have to tweak it. You do have to make adjustments. But if you think, like, for me as a now 5th-year teacher, I'm like, okay, well, I've already done that for a couple of years, like early on.
Yeah.
So this is just one more year of just kind of doing those tweaks, and then I should be good. So I don't mind the sacrifice, because the long term will be so much better.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys have figured or found this new feature yet, but
I probably did, but go ahead anyways.
Now in the edit photos, there's the magic text where you can take a snapshot of something. It can even be a screenshot of like your screen, and you can upload it into Canva, use that magic text, and it will grab the text off of it and allow you to manipulate it, adjust it, delete it, anything. So now you can take, like, let's say you have that tried and true thing that you don't have a digital copy of, but you're like, I love it. Now you can take a picture of it, bring it into Canva, and then be able to work with it. So,
well, and then the teacher that has like the classroom copy from like 1942 that they're still Xeroxing, they could scan that in and actually do something with it.
I'm pretty sure there were no copies.
Well, okay, you know what I meant.
Well, and I think too, because a lot of our audience are people that gamify. And there's so many neat elements, and it's super simple to create things for the classroom and add theming to, you know, just your basic work, or create item cards, or, you know, anything related to that. I noticed I was in Canva today and I was typing it. I was looking for one of the badges I made because we're ending the trimester, and I give away leaderboard badges. Like if you're at the top of the leaderboard, I made them all in there. And so I was like, I had to do a quick little search of leaderboard, and I wasn't in my account. Well, I was in my account, but I searched broadly, and all of a sudden like 1 million leaderboards came up, and I was like, are you kidding me? They have leaderboards in there? It's crazy.
So many things. Well, and they actually have game presentations in Canva too. If you haven't checked them out, if you search game presentations, you will find would you rather games, trivia games, just all sorts of games. And they come with directions. And what I've found is they're just a great inspiration point, right? You like find something and you're like, oh, I might not use it this way, but I have a great idea for this. Or having your kids make their own games in Canva. Like,
that's a good idea.
That could be a really fun way to be able to engage students and have them come up maybe, or find a game template and then have them iterate it and make it their own. I create all of my badges in Canva as well. You can use even like the flash, if you search flashcards, those are a great starting point
that's a good idea.
Your badges that you can create. There is also, if you haven't discovered bulk create, it's kind of like your mail merge in Canva. And so if you wanted to like grab a text field and like copy that, but like have that same text field across all of your whatevers, then you could do that too. So there's some really cool things and supports. And that, if you haven't been in apps is continually changing, growing, so many different AI features that have been added in.
When is Canva using DALL-E 3?
It's
because I'm running out of tokens.
It's in there.
I think it's DALL-E 2. Last time I checked, it was DALL-E 2. But
I don't know that.
Because DALL-E 3 is like another level, and my friend and I have been just going crazy creating stuff for our classes with it, and it's so hyper specific, the things that we need, that it's just, it's so funny to see it created.
You've gotten pampered by the nice DALL-E 3.
Yeah, I'm kind of, and I'm running out of tokens, so, you know.
That sounds like a you problem, not an us problem, so we're going to move on.
It does.
All right, great.
Yeah.
Well, it's really cool. How is it, you talked to us a little bit pre-pod, like, what's it like now, because you kind of stepped out of teaching? What's that like? You might have even shared this on your own podcast. Have you shared this on your own podcast?
Probably not. I don't even know that I have. You know,
okay, this is an exclusive.
Exclusive.
You're all so fun. I can hang out with you every day.
Which one's more fun?
Oh my god.
Oh gosh, no.
That's not.
Okay, so what's it like stepping out of school?
It's so different. It's so different. You know, I was doing a half and half thing. Like last year I was half doing Canva, half doing district. And it was hard, you know, balancing both, because there's certain things you have to be, you know, in a building for, and there's certain things you can do remotely, and like trying to juggle schedules and all of that was a little bit of a challenge. My district was amazing. Like I had the most supportive and, just supportive district that allowed me to be really as flexible as I could be. But now stepping out of the district role and stepping into two roles that really complement each other, it's been really nice, because I do work from home. I do a lot of virtual trainings. I do a lot of creation, you know, content creating, which I love. I love getting to tap into that creativity. I love making stuff. And, so it's so different, but so fun. And so I'm so grateful to still be really supporting educators. And I do still very much have a connection with my district here in Medford. And of course, for those of the listeners who don't know, my husband is a principal at the elementary level here in our area. And so I definitely have a school that I can go to at any time and be able to, you know, jump into a classroom and support. So I definitely feel like I still have that connection, and I'm still able to, you know, engage in public education, but yeah, it's very, very different. And this summer I was very, very busy with travel. And that was something that was very different too. I've never had a summer as crazy busy with travel as I did. I was gone almost every week this summer. Part of it was Canva consulting in person, and part of it was doing some of my own presenting and consulting for Make Learning Magical and my own stuff. But and it was so fun. It was such an adventure, but it was tiring. I was really
So where is the most exotic place that Canva has sent you? Have you been abroad? I know you were in London?
I did. I did go to BET, the big ed tech trade show in London. I did that 2 years in a row, and it was amazing. So definitely that was the biggest trip. But I've been able to go to the ISTEs and support Canva for Education there, and gone to a lot of really great places. And what's fun is that you just get to experience what I think is really fun is getting to experience so many different districts and schools and talk to educators. And I was in one district this summer that was in Illinois, in a really, really small town. And just to see that tight knit group of educators that all just were so connected and knew each other so well, and really kind of see that, I was in that town a day before and it was there was no one, I was just what is this town about? And then you step into the school and all of the educators were there, and I'm like, oh, this is what the town's about. Just to bring humanity, and it just in. And it was really, really a fascinating and very cool experience. And then I was in districts that had 120 schools within the district, and experiencing that kind of district experience. And so it's been really interesting, fascinating, even doing things virtually and getting to work with districts of different sizes and different parts of the US and the world, because I do support different districts and departments of education outside of the US. It's just really opened my eyes and given me this broader perspective that I didn't have before.
Which is really cool. And it's not like you've been busy with other things. So that's really great because you have a podcast. You just did an Eduprotocol thing. The podcast, last time you were on, I don't even think you had the podcast. So,
well, she had the Make Learning Magical podcast.
Yeah, yes, not the other one.
But not the other one.
Not the new one.
You want to talk about the new one? Let's give you some credit here.
Well, yeah, I'm just, again, so grateful for all of the things, all the experiences, and all the opportunities. This last year, I collaborated with my friend and colleague, Elizabeth Bostwick, to start up the Spark Joy in EDU podcast. And it really all came about because we really, we realized that both of our passions and our messages were very much in line. And we also were Canva learning consultants together. So we kind of shared that piece, but we really both have a heart for bringing joy into the classroom and just into education in general. And so we thought, well, how fun would it be to be able to create this podcast where we get to talk to other educators about ways that they're sparking joy in education. And, it's just, education's hard, it always has been hard. And it seems like it's just gotten harder over the last few years. And so finding ways to be able to find the joy and embrace the joy and spark joy is really, I think, important. And so we've really enjoyed collaborating together on the podcast. It's interesting because I've had the Make Learning Magical podcast for a few years prior. And that was really, it's been an amazing experience to be able to get to have conversations with guests and do that solo. It's been a huge learning curve and a lot of learning for me, but it's been really fun also to now collaborate with someone else on a podcast and get to share in that conversation. And it's kind of it's almost, it's, I don't know, I've learned different things on a podcast with others than I have just being solo. So really, really enjoyed the conversations we've had so far with guests, and really excited for more conversations to come.
Well, what we found too is like on my worst weeks, getting together with other guys and gals like these two, just like, oh, that's right. Okay, I'm not alone. And teaching isn't going to be the end of me. You know, it's kind of those reminders that it is like supposed to be fun and joyful. I was really hoping earlier on the pre-pod you said it was called Spark EDU, because I was going to call it Sparkadoo, but it's actually Spark Joy in EDU. So I have to cross out my Sparkadoo.
Maybe you should rethink the title.
I think it still could work. I like that.
Yeah. I was really excited. I wrote it down. I was like, "Oh, Sparkadoo, that's amazing!" But no, Sparkadoo, it's not. It's not Sparkadoo, sadly. Well, that's awesome. And then you just released, what am I? Eduprotocols. There you go. Eduprotocols, as I call it. Yes.
Yes, I collaborated with John Crippo and Marlena Hepburn to create some templates that are in line with their Eduprotocols book 1, and those templates were created in Canva. And so in this companion guide, it is only digital, so it's an ebook that you can purchase on Amazon, and you can download it through Kindle. And this companion guide comes with the 11 frameworks. Again, templates created in Canva, but each template set is going to just give you all the things that you need to be able to put that Eduprotocol into practice. So it comes with the recipe cards, it comes with examples, it comes with little kind of cards that have arrows kind of showing what to do with each thing, and then the template itself. And this template, if you're not in Canva, you can also bring it into other places, like if you wanted to bring it into your PowerPoint or into your Google Slides, or if you wanted to print them out, like all of those things are possible too. And it was so fun to get to create these frames in Canva and be able to collaborate with John and Marlena on the project. I'm just so grateful because, you know, for one, I love Eduprotocols. I brought Eduprotocols into my classroom. I have shared with other educators how to bring Eduprotocols into their classroom too. And then, of course, I love Canva, and I've always created my Eduprotocol frames in Canva. And so to be able to make this all come together was just really fun.
And it's so nice to have all the templates in one place where you just have the book and you can read, you know, do a deep dive into something, but then you have that extra little digital resource that you're like ready to rock and roll the very next day.
Exactly.
And you can, like you said, print them, or you can throw it in a slide or whatever and push it out to kids, and you're ready to go.
Absolutely.
Put it on your Palm Pilot, the whole bit.
Yeah. So how is and your beeper, right? Your
I called it a pager, but whatever. Beeper, we can go with
no,
beeper.
I call it a beeper. I never had one.
Don't think that's how that technology worked, but okay.
Clearly.
Yeah.
So how is this book made up? Because the way I haven't looked at it yet, but I'm wondering, like, if I own, or if I do not own the Eduprotocols field guide, the first one, can I just buy this instead? Is the content all the same, but now there's like these templates in there, or is it like
they're really made to go together? So the Eduprotocols book is going to have like all of the background understanding of all the Eduprotocols. It's going to have all of the, you know, explanation, story behind it. All of that is going to be in that original book. What the companion guide does is it partners, it's kind of like goes alongside that book to give you the templates so that you have, so you can read about it in the book, and then you have that template that you can actually go ahead and
Fabian, it's called a companion guide, man. What else do you want? It's like a companion. It's a buddy. Do you want to call it a buddy book? It's a buddy book. Oh, I see. We were talking for the Leslie rebels out there.
I wanted you to understand.
Yes, thank you. I do understand so much better now. You know, when I did 8 parts, because we've been working on that side pod thing, the Eduprotocols podcast that we've done for a while now, like I was looking for 8 parts templates. And so I went to Twitter and just put in hashtag 8 parts and then looked at all the templates people shared and then found one that I think might work, but I ended up having like 10 of them open and like none of them were like quite right. And it just like having a companion or buddy guide will be very, very helpful because then it's like, oh, there it is.
Plus it's
all
the
done.
official one.
I don't have to dig for it. I don't have to like go through an old social media that I don't even like anymore to try to find a template.
Yeah. And they do have the companion guide does have the 8 parts in it. It has the 8 parts of speech, the story parts, the 8 parts of poetry, and the descriptive writing one. So you're going to find all of those within. So they've brought in some of the classics, but they've also brought in some new ones as well. So you're going to find things in this companion guide, ways to use the Eduprotocols that maybe you haven't discovered before. In this companion guide, you're also going to find the Iron Chef templates as well as the Freyer model. And again, there's some classics and there's some brand new ones. And as Jamie said before, they are made to be able to just plug and play, to be able to bring them in, be able to use them the next day. You can customize them based on, you know, how you're using them, your subject area, etc. But it's giving you all of the pieces to be able to take it and run. So it's not just the template itself. It's an example. It's the recipe card. It's the arrow card that's giving you all of the little tips and tricks also. So you're getting all of that within each template that you're getting.
This is awesome. You have so much stuff going on. It feels like when you watch like a late night person and they come on because somebody had like a new book or something and they're doing like their book tour. You have so many things going on. It's like you're on a book tour with us telling us all these amazing things that are going on. And they really are all amazing things that connect to all of us because we all use these so much. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, so check it out. We'll put a link in the show notes as well.
Yes, and all we will say, actually, we won't even say anything because we don't want to give too much away. But there is a little something coming up in the future. Do you want to kind of plug that a little bit as like a? I'm not going to say anything.
Yes.
Because we can still edit now that you've been so vague.
I am really excited about this project. A year ago, I collaborated with my son to create this story. And I actually had written the story, and the story is really inspired by my son and his journey in school. And so I wrote this story and I approached my son and I said, you know, I wrote the story. I'd love to read it to you, first of all. And you're going to, as I'm reading it, you're going to know that this is about you. And I would be honored if you would illustrate it. I knew my son was very artistic. He'd never really, he hadn't illustrated anything before. And I hadn't really seen a ton of his artwork. However, he's always been really, I know this is a big leap, right?
That's all very
great.
Like,
yeah, love it.
He was always
sounds like a great plan.
I know this is super risky. So I
just throw it in Canva with some AI. It'll work itself out.
Yeah,
Don't worry about
it'll be
it.
fine.
Sorry, go.
But he had done a lot of clothing renderings. He's always been really interested in fashion, and so I said, you know, if you're interested, and I asked him, first of all, would you be interested? And he's like, yeah, he loved the story. And he said, oh my goodness, yeah, I would love to do this with you. And which that in itself, like I was absolutely shook because my son at the time was 20 years old. And like what 20-year-old wants to collaborate with their mom, right? Like that is not something that I expected, but I wanted to ask him first because I felt like, wow, that would be like full circle, right? Story that is about him and his journey. Now he's getting to collaborate to make this thing come to life. And then, you know, it came to like, now you want to do this thing. Like, what do we need to do now? And so I asked him to come up with some just drawings of like what he imagined. And I didn't want to feed him anything. Like I wanted it to be purely like what was in his head. And he did. And I'm like, it was so different than what I thought. I just didn't know really what was actually be drawn. Yeah. And it was so different, but so perfect. And I'm like, okay, we're gonna write a proposal for this thing. Like we have to make this happen. And so we did, and we submitted it to Dave Bridges Consulting, because Dave Bridges Consulting has been so amazing to me. They are the company that published Make Learning Magical. And so I knew that I had to approach them first, and really had no idea. Like, they don't really accept many children's books. And so I really had no idea what was going to happen. And I remember.
Yeah, but you're Tisha Richmond,
No,
so
I mean,
get out the way, people. Get out the way. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it was too much. So,
oh shoot, was that too much? My bad.
When Tisha Richmond is calling.
Yeah.
so funny.
Oh god.
So,
well, that's really exciting, and that may or may not be coming out at some point.
Anyway,
yes.
So they said that they wanted to publish it, which I was like, I was ready to like publish this myself. Like I knew that I wanted to make this happen, but I didn't know how it was going to happen. And so anyway, it's been this incredible journey this past year of collaborating with my son. It's just something that is so incredibly near and dear to my heart, because it is a message that I believe in so strongly. And it's so personal, because it's so connected to my own kid, you know, and because it's like, it's just everything. Like I cannot even put into words how much this means to me, and how excited I am for it to be born, and for everybody to get to read it and see his amazing, artwork and all of it. It's going to be awesome. So stay tuned. It is hoping it to come out in like December-ish. Like, we don't know for sure, but it's
going to be an exclusive.
Yes.
Well, I was going to say they could tune into Sparkadoo, and then they'll probably find it, no problem. So
Tisha, you wrote Make Learning Magical, and that was, text that you wrote.
Yeah.
How is it different, like, dealing with illustrations? Like, without giving too much away, like, it seems like it would be a whole different animal doing
it's so different. I mean, just the editing in itself is so different, and it's such a process. Like I wrote the story, really, and then it was okay laying this out. Like, how would this lay out on a page? Like, what do we picture when we read this part of the story? Like, what do you see? And so I would, I really, again, like, I really wanted it to be Tommy's my son's name. I wanted it to be his kind of, I wanted him to make it come to life, right, in this illustrations. And so again, I didn't feed him much, but we had lots of conversations about like what we see when we read this part of the story, and how can we really make this text come to life in a special way. And so a lot of conversations on that, and then the edit. And so it's I mean, and he is a brand new illustrator. Like, there's so much learning that comes with learning. Like, how do you do this thing? Like, how do he uses Procreate? Like, how do I learn all of the features? How do just all of the things that were involved? And it was such an incredible learning experience for him, and he would teach himself so many things. And it's been so, and again, like that, almost the story of writing this book is almost, it's not, I mean,
that's a sequel.
Yeah, volume 2.
There you go.
It's a story in itself, let me tell you. And and he just,
I imagine it really, this must be such a hard, like, I don't know. I just imagine, like, when you write your story, you have like these ideas of what it's supposed to look like, right? If you're thinking like, oh, this could be something, and then you're like, okay, so I imagine there's this illustration for this part of the story, but then your son reads it and he's like, no, I'm actually drawn to this part, right? So it's like that, I'm sure, is like conversations you need to have where you have to find like a middle ground. Because depending on how like convinced you are that your opinion is the right one, maybe his idea is better, right? And then it's like, that must be really hard.
and it's amazing.
as a mom,
and
especially.
it's been amazing though how well this collaboration has gone. Like again, like my son's 20, you know, and he and a mom and a son, like you have a special bond, but also like, you know, it could get really dicey. I mean, I was thinking it
Yeah.
could get really
There can be
dicey at
tension. Yeah,
times.
there can be tension.
And
Yeah, a special bond that says, "Mom, leave me alone."
yeah, like
Yeah, it's very special.
just like deadlines in itself, you know, like I didn't want to be that
Oh,
nagging
yeah.
mom, but like, come on, like we got to get this in kind of a thing. But he has been so great through it all. And I have been that nagging mom at times, and he has not gotten frustrated with me. We haven't gotten in any fights over anything. And he has, I mean, we've had lots of revision processes. Like we're still in that process. And so, in fact, we just turned in our edits again today, and we're like, okay, like hoping this is
Fingers
gonna
crossed.
stick. But he has been so patient, and it's been an amazing journey, So yeah, I am over the moon. I cannot wait.
And how cool would it be if this ultimately ended up being like part of his career?
Well, no, this
like if he really is interested in, like,
it 100% is. That is like
it kind of
again, yeah, like that's the full story. Like that's the full circle moment. Is that like I was thinking, wow, how perfect! Like this would be full circle if he was actually the one that illustrated the story. But actually, what happened was so much better than that, because now he wants to pursue a career in illustration and maybe graphic design. And what's even better is that he says, there's so many things, Mom, that I want to do. And that to me, like, for him to like realize that he has that potential and that he really can do all of the things that he wants to do, and he believes in himself in a way that he never has before, is like the most incredible thing.
Tisha, if you start crying on the podcast, I don't know what I'm gonna do.
I'm already tearing up. So yeah, I just couldn't be more proud of him. I really could not be more proud of him, and excited for all that this is going to bring for him, and just honored that he went on this adventure with me.
All right, well, let's transition a little bit. Well, let's ask like one teacher thing, and then we'll talk about what you've been playing, and then we'll land the plane. So I don't know if anybody else has a question. Anybody else have a question? But I have one in my mind. It's kind of
you got to ask your question.
It's percolating. It's there. I don't know what percolating means. No, I'm just kidding. So I think if you're traveling around so much, talking to so many teachers and districts, and like, can you give like us a sense of, because we all work in our own little districts and we have such smaller perspectives of like what teaching is like out there right now, and maybe like what things are that are, I don't really even know. See, it was percolating. It wasn't quite all the way there.
Great question,
yes,
Scott.
thank you. Like how are things going out in the teacher world that you can tell us about?
I think things are hard. You know, I think that teachers are working harder than they ever have. And I think it's interesting because, as I shared before, like I have experienced so many different districts of different sizes and different areas, you know, like the more rural, the more suburban, you know, the city schools. And yet there's the same universal problems that are occurring all over, you know? And I think that so we can learn so much from each other because we are all kind of in different situations. However, we all can connect in that teaching's hard and it's hard work, and there are obstacles, and there are things that are just difficult. So I think, you know, teachers are tired for sure. And I think it's exciting for me to just see educators, though they are so tired and stretched thin, they're still innovating and trying to do all they can to create joyful learning experiences for students. And that is just so inspiring to me. And I think more than ever, we just need to be connected. Like we need each other. we need each other in our buildings. We need each other across district. We need each other like globally, like we need to be connected. And so I just hope that, every educator can find that support system, whether it is in their own building, their own district, their Twitter, X, whatever,
Discord.
Discord. There we go.
Right.
Booyah.
I'm gonna learn. You guys are gonna teach me Discord.
I know. I'm still learning.
Yeah.
If I see one more cartoon waving at me, I'm going to lose it. I don't even know what to do about that. Well, here's the thing: is you started off with like things are awful and everybody's tired, but you really turned it around to like. Well, I was thinking while you were saying that, I think the biggest thing is you're not alone. So if you're a rebel out there trying to innovate and listening to this podcast, right, you got to know that you're not alone in your struggle to innovate, in the walls that you run into when you're trying to, and your district or your school or whatever doesn't want to, I don't know, expand their minds. I don't even know what the word is, but, and then staying connected. I mean, that was all really awesome. Thanks, Tish. Okay, well, what have you been playing lately? Because we always end with a game.
Yeah. Okay. So one of my favorite games is Happy Little Accidents. It is a Bob Ross game that I found at Target. It's in a hot pink box with like a Bob Ross face, I think, right in the middle. And what's fun is that you really don't need the game to play. I have brought this game into learning. I've brought it into PD. I've brought it into the classroom. I actually just wrote a blog post for Dave Burgess that just got shared out like a week or two ago, not very long ago. And it gives you
We're very relevant on this podcast, so we're trying.
Yep, we are.
It gives you ways to do this as quick little challenge to boost creativity for your students, but it also shares how you could play this as like a full game. But the whole idea is that you start with a squiggle. So if you were just going to do this as like a quick little activity to help boost student creativity, you could give every student either a Post-it note, index card, whatever. And you ask every student to draw a little squiggle, like just a squiggle on that card. And then I've had students either trade it with someone sitting next to them. If you're at like a pod or like a group table, you can just put them in the middle and everybody grabs a new squiggle. And then on the board, or you could call it out or however you want to do it, you say a word. And every student has to turn that squiggle into something that connects to that word. And so it could be a vocabulary word, right? Or maybe it's a concept that you've been discussing or teaching in that particular unit. And it doesn't have to be a squiggle it doesn't have to be an illustration of that word. It just has to connect to it in some way.
Yeah, or even something abstract.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
And so then if you're just doing that like as a quick little activity, you could just share it with your neighbor or share it with your table, whatever. But you could also play this game kind of like apples to apples, where you're sitting in a group and you have kind of like that lead player, like you do in apples to apples, and they call out the word. So as a teacher, like you could have a whole stack of index cards of all your vocabulary words, terminology, etc. They draw a card, they share it out with everyone. Everyone turns that squiggle into something that connects to the word that lead player said. And then each player can go around and kind of sell like their drawing, right? Like, well, I think this connects because of this. And I think this connects because of this. And so then that lead player can make that ultimate decision of who wins that round. There's a lot of different ways that you can play like the point part, like the actual game, Happy Little Accidents doesn't work that way. Like you have these little tokens that you have to put like on different cards that you like, but I don't think it has to be as complicated. I think it can be pretty simple.
I have a dry erase board and a pen.
Yeah, like, and again, like you really don't need the game, right? All you need is a paper to draw your squiggles, a stack of index cards with your vocab, terminology, etc. on it. I also, in the blog post that I wrote, gave ways that you can play this in Canva and ways that you can play in Pear Deck.
What?
So
that was good. Buddy.
You'll see how you can do it in a digital way as well. But I mean, I think that we creativity is something that we have to continue like practicing, right, in our classrooms, and it's something that grows and builds over time. And I think it's really fascinating when you look at data like the World Economic Forum Future of Jobs report. Creativity is the
I was
number
reading that yesterday.
one skill that is needed right now in the workforce, and it's projected to be the skill that is most needed in the next 5 years as far as reskilling, upskilling. And so we think about that, like we have to be finding ways to really build that creative muscle in our students, and just those little exercises like that we can do in a playful, fun way can really make a significant impact on and even how students view themselves, right, as being creative.
Yeah, and I'm even thinking from a SPED level. From a SPED level, I would probably even, instead of the apples judge, which has way too much power in my opinion, the judge could just say which one do I think most connects and why, and then my smaller group of students, like one of the kids could vocalize their connection to that picture, because sometimes they would have a hard time even hearing all the judging, stuff, all the reasons why there should be the one. And so I could even change that around and make it, I like that a lot.
Yeah, there's so many different ways and variations that you can do. I think actually in the actual game, you start like your squiggle is a black line, but then you use another colored pen to do a different color to do the rest of the design. And so you can see where that original like squiggle started, which is really fun too.
And that would be really neat to just have each kid at a table have a different color, and then they start with their color and make their squiggle and pass it off to someone else, and that's simple, easy.
Yeah, I've played it a couple of times in my advisory, and it's so quick. It's such a quick setup. You don't really have to do anything. You just give them a couple of pieces of paper, and then you say, here's your term, pizza. You don't even have to have slides if you have like 5 minutes left.
Yeah.
And then you just share them out.
And what a great thing to do on like Halloween week when everybody's tired.
Yeah.
Get
and
their brains.
conferences.
Yeah, everybody's, get their brain thinking a little bit, get them talking to each other, like all of those
Well,
things.
and I've never played without having laughter, right? Like you can't help but laugh because it's fun. And to see like how the drawings that come about, even when I play this with adults, I actually do this when I'm teaching sketchnoting, because I also love to teach how to sketchnote. And I do that activity with the squiggle in my sketchnoting sessions, and even with kids when I'm teaching kids sketchnoting, and they love it. It's fun. When I teach it in a sketchnoting lesson, or when I want to bring it into like a PD, oftentimes I will just have them do the squiggle, and I'll say, turn the squiggle into a person or an animal, because that one is like, it can look so many different ways, and really fun to see how people turn that squiggle into a person or an animal. And so that one, like you could do that. All of you can do that tomorrow. Like,
exactly. Yeah. And like what you were saying too a second ago, you start with that low cog load, just like Eduprotocols, right? With something, just turn into a person or an animal. And then later on, once they understand that this is like a low risk, just fun, goofy game, you can add the content in there, and then they can really stretch.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, so I've realized our problem. We like each other too much. So now we've talked for a very long time. We got it. That is the problem. Yeah, it's time to go. So, Tisha, we're gonna find you we're gonna find you everywhere, right? So, social media for sure. What's your handle on social media?
Well, it differs. It's kind of a thing. So on X,
great.
Okay, buckle in.
Tish Rich on Twitter, X, whatever you decide to call it. It is
call it nothing.
Tish Richmond on Instagram. And I think LinkedIn, it's just Tisha Richmond.
Okay, if everybody's going to LinkedIn these days. Awesome. And then you signed up for our Discord, which we're very excited that you're on Discord with us. That has grown a lot. So if you're listening, please go to Rebel Teacher Alliance and click on the Discord. That'd be awesome. But then they can also check out your digital companion guide.
Yes, you can find the Eduprotocols companion guide. That is on Amazon. And
Making Learning Magical is your jam. And you have that podcast sometimes, but Sparkadoo is Spark Joy. I literally got it in my brain now. Spark Joy and EDU. That one's like going pretty strong right now. So go check that out. We'll link to all of that in the show notes. Am I missing anything else?
The Facebook group, Tisha, does it have a special title? Is it just the Canva's teacher EDU?
Yeah, so the Canva teachers community. It's the Canva teachers. If you search Canva teachers on Facebook, you'll find that community. There's over, I believe there's 89 or 90,000 in that group right now. Whoa. It's a very large group from all over the globe. Wow.
That's how many are on our Discord right now too. Everybody go check it out.
That's
See if I'm telling the truth. Yep.
But you can also go to at Canva EDU on Twitter, and you can find a great community sharing out all sorts of ways that they're using Canva in the classroom there. And I have a Gamifying Family and Consumer Science Facebook group as well. If you are a family and consumer science or CTE teacher, but really made for specifically for family and consumer science, and you like to gamify your classroom, you can join that group as well.
Okay, so there's lots. Go check it out. We'll link to it all in the show notes. Gosh, we're so glad that you came and joined us. I mean, like last time was, I think, how many times have you been on? A couple at least, right?
This is the third time now. One time we flagged you down last year on...
I just cornered you in...
No.
At lunchtime, I think, and we're like, "Come."
At Q.
Come follow us. Here's a microphone.
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah. Oh, I always love to hang out with you all. So I am anytime. I am game anytime.
Woo!
All right, everybody. So go check out rebelteacheralliance.com. Check out all the things there. Join our Discord. It feels a little bit like Twitter these days, where we're just like putting up stuff and commenting on each other's stuff. It's very fun.
No, Twitter in the old days.
In the old days. Like the old Twitter, like the good days. Yes. Yeah. So come check it out. Add some content. Be a part of the community here at Rebel Teacher Alliance. And we will see you next time.
Bye. Thanks so much.
Ciao.